freeing from limitation. So in this world that we are experiencing, we must understand that limitation itself is often disguised as a certain path. And we can identify a path of limitation being a path of not necessarily comfort, but a path of predictable outcomes which are always sourced from a guidance within ourselves that knows that infinite potential or that infinite possibility will be fenced with that sense of following the path of which we are given. And to put simply is that when we embark upon a certain path which is seeded from thought, we must question, is that thought only giving us a sense of satisfaction to a sense of comfort? And the comfort, when I'm talking about comfort, I'm talking about the outcome of achieving something from the materialistic world. When we achieve that materialistic sense, oftentimes in order to achieve that materialistic goal or to achieve that outcome, we need to sacrifice a sense of creativity to the unknown as we step into the prediction or calculation of the outcome which we're embarking to achieve. Why I am highlighting this is because within this reality, we are often seeded to evolve within a plant, which is metaphorically used as a goal or something we embark to achieve, which is always meant to not necessarily die, but this plant is once in bloom, the flower is not sweet. It is going to be bitter. And the flower is going to be bitter because the seed itself is not true for the awakening of one's, or ultimately the connection to one's true value, which we will end up coming to terms of. And that's why to truthfully bloom into something sweet, into something that we will love, into something that will ultimately resonate with happiness, is to ultimately understand that the seeds which are given, and the seed is metaphorically used as thought itself, when the thoughts which we perceive are coming into our lives, rationalizing comfort, rationalizing power, rationalizing success within power and comfort. Once the plant is grown and we see the fruit is bitter and we are resentful, we are frustrated, we are angered, we are disconnected from a sense of happiness and a sense of love and compassion and joy, we will understand that something went wrong. And we don't know this until we feel it for ourselves and we see that the thought itself was disguised as sweet and successful and that's what it is. It never disguises itself in the moment as its true potential. It has to disguise itself as what will be rather than what it is truly. And all I want to share and express within this video is that the thoughts which we seed within this present infinite possibility, within this present moment, always need to be balanced with the truth of our heart. And that's why this reality does its best to close our hearts. So all we think is what we become, rather than justifying the truth which we feel and reasoning with the thoughts and thinking rather. That's where it gets us, is we just think rather than feel. As children, we feel rather than think. And that's why, to come back into that state of feeling and seeing what the minds bring into our lives, and coming back into that state of feeling and finding that feeling of what we want to feel, and then seeding from that feeling, growing and becoming that feeling which will never stop expressing the truth of which we want to become. And if we want to become happy, if we want to become that infinite expression of happiness, that infinite expression of possibility within happiness and love and joy and devotion to these experiences, then we must come back to understand that the heart will always give us what we need to evolve within its potential, within its sense of activation, its sense of expression of infinite possibility. The mind will do its best to guard us, to prevent us from growing within its existence. And that's why we always must see the mind as the gift of distraction. The mind is a mechanism, it's a tool to disguise itself as the sophisticated self, the sophisticated knowing. However, it is only in capturing us within its perceptual paradigm of limitation a lot of the time. It's not to say that the mind, once harnessed, can be a magnificent tool to evolve within this reality, because ultimately that is what it is, but it is also the same mechanism which is used to hold us and imprison us within our own infinite potential.